This is I Like That Story, a Prairie Christmas episode number 16. What Happened to the Disciples? This A Prairie Christmas episode of I Like That Story is brought to you by Evolution Consulting, nationwide consulting for style, speaking, and stage. This Christmas season, we measure a gift two ways: the value of the gift itself and the sacrifice made to give us that gift. The original gift of Christmas is Jesus Christ himself, the Prince of Peace, whose story you're probably quite familiar with. But have you ever thought about the sacrifices made to bring you that story? In other words, what happened to the disciples? Well, it's an old question, and the truth is nobody really knows. We only know the disciples by their first names. And their names were so common that history has a hard time sorting out who did what. So we look at old church records and traditions, and from these ancient beginnings we have the threads of the stories. We know that they started out in Jerusalem and then traveled thousands of miles, telling everybody about the Prince of Peace, the Messiah. Jesus was also a common name, so they referred to him by where he grew up: Jesus of Nazareth, or by his title, Jesus the King, or Jesus Christ. And they were killed. Shouldn't come as a surprise. Traveling then was extremely dangerous. Bad roads and thieves who would kill you just for the things you had. They weren't really equipped for the task. Mostly uneducated, lower class, arrested and tried before kings, angry mobs, biased juries, and kangaroo courts. Peter, the same Peter who denied even knowing who Jesus was at the crucifixion of Christ, was crucified himself. Legend says that in humility he asked not to be crucified in the same way, but upside down. So he was. His brother Andrew made it to Greece and Russia. They crucified him on a big axe, spread eagle. James made it to Spain, where he was beheaded. Philip was killed in Turkey, Matthew in Ethiopia. James the Lesser, called that because he was smaller than the other James, was killed in Egypt. Thomas, or Doubting Thomas, took his new belief to the east coast of India, where he was speared to death. Bartholomew preached in Turkey, India, Egypt, Arabia, Ethiopia, and Persia. He was skinned alive and beheaded near the Caspian Sea. Jude may have preached in Assyria before joining with Simon the Zealot and being killed with him in Persia. We don't know how Jude died. Simon was either crucified or hacked to death. The suffering of Paul is well documented in the letters he wrote to churches he started in all corners of the world. He was beheaded in Rome after preaching to all who would listen, from kings to prisoners. Only John, the one that Jesus asked to take care of his mother Mary, died a natural death, but he too suffered. Tradition says they tried to kill him by lowering him into a pot of boiling oil, but that he crawled out. Why did they do it? Where did they get that relentless drive? We get the word discipline from the word disciple. We also get the word excruciating from the word crucify. I suppose the short answer is love. A love so deep that when Christ said, "Go into the world and tell them the good news," they did. They are the reason that Christmas is celebrated all over the world. A gift that is all the more significant in our time, when we will no longer even say Merry Christmas, because we don't want people to get the wrong idea. Thank you for listening. This story comes out of my syndicated radio show, A Prairie Christmas, a holiday gift from all of us at I Like That Story. ILikeThatStory.net is where you can find out more about the places I speak, the books I write, podcasts, blogs, CDs of some of your favorite Christmas stories, and more. Look us up on ilikethatstory.net. And until next time, with music from Dan Schwartz, I'm Jeff Gould. Merry Christmas.